Welcome. My name is Lester Green, and I am hosting the Rally Up magazine Instagram live video. I will be interviewing Kevin Berthia. He's a mental health advocate. He's a suicide survivor, and we're going to get a chance to chop it up with him. We're going to learn about his story and why he does what he does. So stay tuned. Before we bring him on, though, I just want to make some brief announcements. First, we're encouraging mental health professionals, organizations, mental health coaches, just anyone who provides mental health services and support to join our green resource pages for a small monthly donation of only $5, which is tax deductible because Rally Up Magazine is a product of our nonprofit We Fight Foundation Incorporated. So you can sign up by clicking the link in this bio. So please do that. And for those who are back in the office, we have our professional bundle package. This includes a printed subscription to our mental health magazine and a placement in our green resource pages. So now that we got that out of the way, we have to bring on the man, Kevin Berthia. Let's bring him on. Kevin Berthia.
Yes,
Right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Listen, I watched your TED Talk video and I was moved to tears, literally. And I just commend you for being so brave and strong through everything. And I just wanted to find out how you're doing, obviously. And I really wanted to focus on the word hope, because you use that word a lot. Can you talk to us about hope and how did hope help you recover from the suicide attempt?
I think that anytime you go through such a traumatic thing in life, you find that hope is the only thing that kind of can bring you forward. Because when somebody gets to that dark place, it's the one thing that they're missing. It's the one thing that you can't, live without. We can go so long without eating. We can go so long, without breathing. We can go so long without doing a lot of different things. But the moment we lose hope, that's it. I mean, it's the one thing that binds us to this world. It's the one thing that keeps us going. When we look forward to having things to look forward to, that's hope. We hope in things, we living in a hope. We all, live in that world of hope. So I think that, losing that was probably the hardest thing I had to endure, but gaining that and being able to lose it and understand how to build it and be able to teach it is one of the powerful tools that I've been able to be blessed with moving forward.
Right. I love that. In your TED Talk video, you talked about how you felt like there was a car just pressing down on your chest. What was that feeling like? Because it sounded like it was unbearable pain.
Yeah, emotional baggage. I mean, I think we all, us, especially as men, we take on all this baggage, the things we do, the things we don't deal with these emotions. We're taught not to. We're taught not to cry. We're taught not to feel. We're taught to shelter these emotions, so they become emotional baggage. The times that we were supposed to cry and we don't, that becomes an emotional baggage because we don't know. Down the line, something's going to trigger us, and now we're overly crying and not realizing what we're doing. We carry these weights of emotional baggage, and I've did it for, 22 years up into that point to where it got overwhelming and I couldn't take it anymore. So I always tell people, you got to deal with your emotions in that moment. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to be upset in that moment, because you're not going to be upset forever. But if you allow yourself not to deal with the emotion, then that's when you get overwhelmed.
Yeah, I love that. And I have to ask, how did you connect with Nikki Cotman from Rally Up Magazine? How did the two of you connect? Because I know you thought it was
I had got linked up with Mark Harrison. He linked me up with her, and we was able to do some work and do an interview. And me and Mark Harrison got an opportunity to do an interview with Rally Up Magazine, and I was able to be featured in the magazine. Knew nothing about the magazine beforehand, and I'm great to be involved in the opportunity to just collaborate. They definitely phenomenal job on the magazine. It looks beautiful. I just the print is just everything is right. Everything was just phenomenal. I'm just grateful for the opportunity. It's a million stories out there. It's a million people that have stories because we all have one. So to be featured in such a great magazine, I'm thankful for that.
definitely check out the magazine, rallyupmagazine.com. You can purchase a copy. Telling you it's a great read. I read it. It's about 52 pages. Dr. Jeffrey Harris is on the cover. So definitely check it out. And you can read about Kevin's story as well. So yeah, moving forward though, I know that happened in 2005, right? You're at the Golden Gate Bridge and you're getting ready to just end it all. Just talk to me about how you were able to make a connection with Officer Kevin Briggs, who was the guy who ultimately rescued you.
Absolutely. It took 8 years. I went to the bridge March 11, 2005, and for 8 years, I never accepted that I even went to the bridge. You would think that, somebody have to have outpatient, need some, some medication. And I lied about that day because I wasn't ready to accept that I really had an issue that big. And then knowing I was front page of the Chronicle when I got home, I never wanted to deal with the idea that, that this was something I did. So for 8 years, I lied. And the only reason why I was able to hook up with him is my mother wrote a letter to American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And, thanking Officer Briggs. He wrote it to the Highway Patrol, thanking Officer Briggs, for that day, March 11, 2005. Thank you for being Kevin's guardian. And he held on to that letter, and Officer Briggs was up for a Lifesavers Award in May of 2013. And they reached out to my mom. She, kind of got me to New York to kind of meet him. And, I talked openly for the first time, got the opportunity to meet him for the second time, but this time face to face, because a lot of people don't even realize from our story, I never even knew Officer Briggs was a cop. I never knew he was an officer. I mean, I saw the photo once I, got out of the hospital, but I never looked up during that whole 92-minute conversation, So I never knew he was white, never knew he was a cop. All I had an idea was he was a human. And I never knew, anything else about it, because my idea of what law enforcement at the time in 2005 was a lot different than what it is now today. So we was able to reunite in New York in May of 2013 at a Lifesavers dinner. And I talked openly for the first time about everything that took me to the bridge March 11, 2005. And everything in my life completely changed ever since that moment.
Right. Now, you said you never looked up when you were having that conversation with him.
Never.
On the bridge.
Never.
Do you think if you had looked up and you noticed,
we wouldn't be having this conversation? My idea then, you got to realize something. I'm an African American man from Oakland, California. I've never, up until that point, I never had a great run-in with law enforcement. Never. And my idea of law enforcement was pretty in a bad place. So if I would have looked up knowing he was a white cop, I wouldn't have been here, because I would have never opened up and told my most, vulnerable feelings and emotional, baggage to somebody who I didn't trust. I didn't have that idea. He changed the idea of how I look at, law enforcement that day. Well, in the second day when I met him in New York that day, when I found out, he was a cop. Now I'm able to, now I've traveled. I've done, I've done all kind of stuff with law enforcement now up until this point. But it's just ironic that, in that moment, I never had an idea that he was a police officer. No.
Wow. And so now, what's your friendship like with Officer Kevin Briggs?
Oh, we talk, we talk every week, and we travel and speak together. We're able to share this story together. We're booking now. I always got to put, now I'm learning how to plug myself because I don't do that enough, but we travel around the country, and we are able to tell our story. You hear both sides. He gives you the statistical side of that day and statistics and some things going on. And I give you, some things, walking through my life before I went to the bridge and how what I'm doing after the bridge. So it's just, you get to hear both sides of it, and I'm, it's impactful because, I only know one side, my side, and you get to hear his side from what he saw, and it's just great, because I can't really speak for him.
Wow. I love that. Now, I know you have 3 kids, right?
I have 4.
You have 4. Okay.
I have 4.
You have 4 kids. Okay.
I have 4.
So what kind of conversations do you have with your kids now? What if your son or your daughter comes up to you and says, Dad, I don't feel right. I'm unhappy. I'm sad. I don't feel good. What kind of advice would you give your own child about just dealing with mental health and depression?
Being able to be, well, I'm only blessed with the opportunity to raise 2 of my 4. So the 2 that are able to live with me and are able to come to me, they're always, and it's 2 boys. I'm able to really when they're able to talk to me, I'm able to tell them that anything that we talk about, we can talk about. Like nothing that goes on in your head. The problem is, it's a lot of thoughts that enter into our head that we think are weird and we don't want to explain them. It's just, that's just how the brain kind of picks up on things. We watch things, we're exposed to things. What we see exposes us to certain things. When you watch the news, you're watching trauma. You know, when we watching, we watching, War Star, and we're watching these people get beat up. That's trauma. Like you're entering, the trauma is entering into your mind. And I don't think we realize that. So everything we take in, they're going to have thoughts about certain things. So we just want to, create an atmosphere where we're okay talking about anything. Asking them beyond more questions than just, how was your day? Just what made today great? Like what made today good? What made it bad? Like just keeping a level playing field to where the communication are always open, because you got to communicate with these kids. They're so important. They're so smart. They're so beyond than where we were at. When my son, my 8-year-old, it does more at 8 than I probably did at 20. I mean, it's just his brain, the way his brain can take in things. So we have to be more understanding and more in communication with our youth and our loved ones and our little ones, because they are the future. So I definitely take the time and talk to him and let him know it's an open playing field.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. Now, I'm just curious. I saw that you met Steve Harvey. I saw you posing with Steve Harvey and Kevin Briggs. How did that opportunity come about? How did you meet Steve Harvey? Connection happened.
That was great. I got the opportunity in 2013. It's like the same year that I met Briggs, my life kind of took off. I went from wanting to die to helping people who wanted to die. And that's why I always tell people, I don't care where your life is. You got hope, because I know where I was at. I didn't even expect to make it out of 2013, let alone the same year. I said, I made a joke and I said, I just want to help people. And 2 weeks later, I was in People magazine. So Steve Harvey came about, in November of 2013, around the same time around People magazine came out. And it's just, it's just one of those, they caught wind of the story and they wanted to honor Sergeant Briggs as a Harvey hero. And they brought him on a show, and we was able to go on there and, get $5,000 donation for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which was great. Got the opportunity to talk to Mr. Harvey personally. It was just a wonderful experience. It was just great.
I love that. Do you ever think about what might happen if you start feeling like that again? Because if it happened once, maybe it could happen again. Do you worry about falling into that funk again?
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't say I think about it. I don't necessarily worry about it, because I have things in place, so that if I feel a certain way, it's like I have my therapy, which I do, every week, and I always say now that I go to therapy, I'm probably one of the biggest advocates for therapy. If I could afford it, I would go every day. That's just me, because I deal with everyday issues. So I would go every day. I would go talk to somebody every day for an hour. That's just me personally. It ain't got to be you. If I had the money, I would go every day. But, that's something I implement. And I keep these things in for, group therapies. I'm constantly doing something that's going to help me when I get there, because I can't deny it. Like, I'm adopted. I'm going to be adopted the rest of my life. So I'm going to have days where I'm going to feel, a certain way because of that decision. And it's undeniable. It's not something I can run from. It's something I have to face. It's something I have to deal with. And it's something I have to just keep in front of me in order for me to just see exactly what it's doing to me. Because if I keep it behind me, I don't know exactly how much is it taking out of me if I keep it behind me. So I'd rather keep it in front of me, and at least I can see it coming.
Wow. Amen to that. I agree with that. So with the pandemic and everything that we're going through, how has your mental health shifted?
It's been tough, and I can't imagine the world, because my mom raised me and said, well, you always got to compare your problems to that of the world. So it's always been hard for me to put my own problems in perspective, because I always think about the world. I always think about, well, man, it's somebody else it's somebody that didn't eat. It's somebody else that didn't sleep. It's somebody else that didn't make it. So with that idea in mind, I know that the world is affected by this pandemic. So many things have changed in my own personal life. I was in a much better space. I can go back to where I was at March 10th, 2020, before this thing hit, on my way to, all these different events. And, with the pandemic, I can't reach the masses and pieces. I can't talk to people I've been forced to do it like this online, and I'm not, most people are comfortable like this. I need a million people in front of me. That's just who I am. I need the people. I need to feel the people. That's just who I am. I am a public guy. I am the people guy. I am the put me in a room full of any type of people and just give me a mic and watch out. Everything is fine. I got this. And so that has been taken away because of this. And it's just, I understand I've suffered, so I can only imagine everybody else. So it's just, all I can do is say everyday routines that you got used to, we're having to adjust. We're having to find new methods inside of ourselves. And within that, we're finding new strength. We're finding new talents. We're finding new hope. I mean, all this, like, instead of thinking about all the stuff that's been taken away, we got to start looking at what we can do to build what's left. Like, and I think that if we get that idea, and build from what's left, instead of trying to, oh, well, I got to figure out a whole new life. No, it's like, okay, well, it's enough left. It's enough to sustain us. Like, people are, it's so many people writing books. There's so many people writing screenplays. There's so many people learning learning how to cook. I mean, it's some good that came out of it, and we just got to realize it. And I think that, it's terrible things that came out of it, but we got to just focus on the good.
Absolutely. Good conquers evil. So I wanted to ask you, just in terms of being a motivational speaker, you talked about how you need to go out there and touch the people. So where have you gone in terms of giving speeches? I saw that you were in Canada. Saw that you
Yeah,
were
God has blessed me. I have a long, I've been able to do this, since 2015. So I've been to at least 42 different states. I've been in South Korea. I've been in Alaska. I've been around. I've been able to talk to every walks of life. I've talked to kindergartners. I've talked to junior high. I've talked to, high school. I've talked to junior college. I've talked to universities. I've talked to FBI. I've talked to law enforcement, CHP, all walks of life, Indian reservations. I mean, anybody, because we're all affected by the one thing, trying to figure out who we are. And that's all it is, identity. Like, we're all struggling with trying to figure out who we are and why we're here. And we don't want to be honest with that. And I think that the more and more we're honest with that idea that we're all struggling with the same thing, then we can come together and build a better world.
Yes. So you mentioned the reservation. I saw that you posted something regarding the Spokane Indian Reservation. You talked about how it really changed your life. Can you talk to us about how it changed your life?
You get the opportunity. I got the opportunity to speak to at a high school, and just the outpouring of, you don't know. They come from a different lifestyle, and to be able to connect with people that are not, that don't come from the same background as you, and get that type of support and that type of love. And I got the opportunity to walk with the seniors on their community walk, and they took me around, and just afterwards, and listening to all the youth come up to me, and as I'm sitting there in the hall, and they say, from the littlest ones, the little third graders coming up to me and saying, "Thank you, Mr. Berthia, for presenting to the ninth graders and 10th graders," saying, giving me daps and giving me, it's something about that. If you can move kids, you can move the world, because they are the representation of everything. Like, you have to reach them, because they are the future. And it's just something about being able to be in that space and be able to just be able to know I'm making change, and change the idea, and be able to talk to them, and be able to be there for them, and just be able to listen to their stories. Because it's not, we all got a story. It's not about me. It's not about Kevin Berthia. It's not about me. It's about the message that we all have a story. Like, we all are walking into this. I had to come to the forefront because I had the worst day of my life and a photo taken of it. So it brought me to the forefront. I could not, I've been chosen. Like, that's just how it is. I can't run from it. Everybody's had the worst day of their life. You probably just don't have a photo of it. So I'm no different than anybody else on the face of this planet. So when people inbox me and they, are excited to hear from me back, no, I don't have it's me. Like, you're getting me. You're getting Kevin Berthia. Like, I'm inboxing you back personally. It's no auto reply. It's just because I'm always be accessible to the people. I don't care how God makes me, because that's what I'm designed to be.
Now, you said you were designed to be that way. Did you always know that that was going to be your trajectory? Because I could tell you're
Absolutely.
on fire.
Absolutely. I never knew that it was going to be mental health. I never knew. My whole life I've been this way. My whole life I've had the idea of understanding that I was different from the whole world. Like not in a, oh, I just look at, I don't understand certain things. I've never my whole life seen color. I've never seen color. I've always seen people. If I have a certain issue with a person, it's not, has nothing to do with anything that they bring to the table. It's not about color. It's not about finances. It's just because they don't vibe with my spirit. Like, just, it has nothing to do with anything that you do, can't do, you know, because I've had some of the best conversations with people that haven't had a shower in months. You know, because we don't take the time to really listen to what people are saying, because we don't realize we get so focused on the messenger and don't realize the message. I'm always intact with the message, because we all have a message. We all have a story. We all have gifts. We all have beliefs. We all have, you know, something to say. We all have something to bring to this world.
Right. So talk to me about the Kevin Berthia Foundation. Did you start that on your own? What sparked it?
From traveling, and just, you know, after opportunity, as I come off stage, you know, God has blessed me with the opportunity to be able to have a line where people want to talk to me and tell me their story and open up and tell me stuff about them. And I just start hearing the need of what we don't have. And I just said, well, it's not out there. What I envision in my heart of what the world needs in order to heal from this mental health, in order to heal from suicide, in order to heal from depression, we don't have. We don't have. So I have to design it. And, you know, because it's so big, I have to, you know, I had to quit my job. Because I had to figure out how to just be motivated enough to say, okay, I need to be full time in this. And even this, I'm just now, this week is probably the first time I ever put 100% into the foundation. Like, no distractions, no nothing. And I've accomplished more this past week than I probably accomplished in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, just, you know, just because I'm saying I'm pouring into it, and because I know these people need this. I know they need a place, you know, that people can go to where they can talk about their feelings and really get the real help that they need, and not feel like they're being judged, and not feel like they're being ran around the system, or, you know, it's just, we need to get better when we have these vulnerable times where people are willing to open up. We need to have, you know, things in place when they do open up. We want people to open up, send them to therapy, and then we don't have preventative measures afterwards. We spill all our stuff on the table, you know, and then what? Then we're triggered. Then when we go out into the world, what is the plan for us after that? We want people to open up, but then what do we do when they open up? What are we doing after they open up? Because people will talk, but what happens when they talk? What do we have in place when people open up? What do we have in place? What's the next step? And that's where we struggle at. We struggle with not that. We don't struggle with people wanting to open up. We struggle with not having anything to do when they open up. We struggle with the response people take when people open up. That's what we struggle with, because everybody in a dark place wants to open up. Like, it's contrary to popular belief. I don't care what anybody says. Anybody in a dark place doesn't want to be there. Like, it does, nobody wants to wake up every day and want to die. Who wants that life? We get in the circle of designing and think that we deserve that life, but we don't really want that life. Nobody really in their right mind. That's why we say in their right mind will want that life, because they're not in their right mind. So that's why I understand that from being in that dark place, that people just want better. People just want to be heard. People just want to be felt. People just want to know that you actually do care. That's it. That's what people want.
Yeah, you make a great point, because I remember you said in your TED Talks video, I'm going back to that video, that day you drove to the Golden Gate Bridge, and you said something about the person at the toll didn't say anything to you, didn't ask you, where are you going? Why are you going over there? Is everything okay? And you said that if that toll person would have at least said something, or at least acknowledged you in some way, it might have made all the difference. And I think that's important for us to learn. We got to listen to people. We have to ask people, are you okay? Not just say, oh, are you okay? Okay, cool, that's it. Right?
Yeah, we got to go beyond that. We got to go beyond. We're
right.
scared to engage because we don't want to. Oh, I don't know how much you know how much. As out there as I am, and I'm gonna be honest with you, as out there as I am, and knowing that my picture is out there, knowing how accessible I am to the public, I have never. And since I just got social media in 2013. I have never once got inboxed by somebody that was just bothering me, like, you know, like that just was like doing too much, or everybody that's inboxed me needed the help or needed to really just know what was going on. So I always tell people, you be so scared to engage. People just want a little bit of understanding. That's it. You know, people can fix their own problems. I don't solve anybody's problems. I don't solve anybody's problems. I give people an opportunity to talk so they can hear their own problems. Like we try to become problem solvers and we're not. Allow people to hear themselves so they can solve their own problems. We can't hear our problems because we're in our problems. How are you going to hear your problems if you're in them? But if you're talking about them, then that person is able to let you hear them. We both hearing them. Now it's like, oh, you know what? I am hearing that I am sensitive when this happens. I am hearing that I am overly aggressive when this conversation happens. And then I can identify that and do the proper things. But if I don't get to talk about it, how am I going to heal from it?
Yeah. I have to ask, so you said you were diagnosed with depression at a very early age as a child.
Yeah.
What does that look like? How do you even know that you have that problem?
I didn't know until 19, but I knew as early as age 5 that I was different. Like I knew, I for one, from 5 to about 12, I avoided mirrors, which is not normal. I hated looking at myself. I hated everything about myself. I hated the idea of life, which is not normal. I couldn't shake being sad if I wasn't doing something. Like I had to be busy in order to not be sad, because if I wasn't busy, which is at night, in the middle of the night, or when I'm by myself, then I'm overwhelmingly sad. And I never could understand why. So I always just thought I was weird. So I know, so our kids, you have to talk to your kids. You got to talk to them and see what they got going on, because we don't know, you know, what they're up against. We don't know what they're facing. And if you don't ask the necessary questions to see what's going on, then they'll grow up thinking that they're weird like I did. And I could have probably got help years ago, you know, and not at night, you know, at 19, I already figured, you know, I am who I am. You're not going to tell me nothing new about myself. So when you tell me at 19, I got something. And when I grew up, we didn't have, you know, they just start talking about mental health. So growing up, they didn't talk about mental health. We didn't have assemblies. We didn't talk about suicide. I didn't hear the word depression until I was 19. Suicide till I was 19, 5150, 19, like all these things we didn't hear growing up. Like, you know, they wasn't on the news. Like we didn't talk about, like mental health was just started being talked about. Like how we talk about it now, and it's still trying to gradually grow. How we having these conversations. We didn't have conversations like this, you know, 10, 15 years ago. It was never conversations about mental health, about how we feel, yet alone we still were dying though.
Wow. You said 5150. What is that exactly? I don't even know what that is.
When they publicly hold you, deem you unfit, and they got to hold you, and they put you on a hold, and they can physically hold you for 3 days and take you to a psychiatric hospital and place you on a 5150 hold. And it's a psychiatric hold, and you know you gotta comply, and that's when, you know, they deem you're unfit to enter, you know, to society, because you're harmful to yourself or you're harmful to others. You know, but they don't educate kids about that. See, the problem is we don't educate kids in elementary about mental health. We don't educate kids about feelings. Nobody ever tells you that it's important to love yourself. There's no book growing up that teaches you about loving yourself. It's all about service to others. Like everything is about life and how you are adapt to others and adapt to life, but it's never about how do you love yourself? Like these are the things you need to do. Love yourself, self-love. You got to pour into yourself. So we have a world full of pourers, and nobody's pouring back into each other. Like you don't even know how to pour into yourself. Like I had to learn for myself. Like, you know, I'm just as guilty as anybody else. Like, you know, I know how to pour, but I don't know how to feel. Like I don't know how to feel myself. So I had to learn the same pour I'm giving to the world, I had to learn how to pour into myself.
Wow. I'll be honest, I just realized that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I mean, but it's a lot of things that people don't, I mean, because we're just now coming, you know, enough people are talking about it now, and enough celebrities are talking about it, which is great because they have this huge platform. If I have 1 million something followers, I'm gonna talk about mental health every day, because it's mental. Something happens mentally every day. So I don't understand how this is not at the forefront of everybody's conversation, but it's this, you know, it is the big elephant. You know, it is anytime something kills a person every 40 seconds. I don't understand how we're not talking about this stuff, you know, every single day, every single minute. Like, you know, since we've been on the phone, like, you know, somebody somewhere and say, you know what, I'm not enough. The life I'm living is not enough. And they've passed away just as we're talking. Somebody in the world. Like, but we don't think about that. I think about those type of things, like, you know, like as we're worrying about our day to day, somebody is can't. Somebody is already wrote a letter. It's not gonna. Somebody's not gonna make it tomorrow, and that's the thing that I think about. Like, we have to get better at really our communication so that nobody feels alone. Like, I will constantly say this. There's absolutely no reason why, you know, all these people on the planet, you know, almost 8 billion, and it's still people in the world that still feel alone. Like, I can't for the life of me understand it. You know, so for me, for a lot of years, I've not been who I am because I haven't felt like I can make a difference. It wasn't until now, until I really like, okay, I'm gonna step into this because I feel like I can make a difference, because my heart has always been too bigger than what I think I could do. If I can't save everyone, then I don't know how to just save one. And I had to get used to that. I had to be okay with that, because when I came into this, I was just like, oh, we're gonna completely end the world without suicide. Like, it ain't gonna be no more suicides. And then I came into it, and I had to be learned real fast, like that. I can't save everybody. You can't save and that's the idea. And for somebody who's empathetic as myself, that's one of the hardest things I've had to accept coming into the mental health world. That I can't put every broken person in a room and just talk to them. I can't do that. But I wish I could do that. I wish I could put every person in a room and just speak life into them and to make them understand, like, dude, you deserve to see it get better. Why go through all this in your life and don't see the other side of it? Like, you can't, you got to see the other side of it. You can't go through all this and you go through and go through and go through and go through all this madness and not get the chance to see it get better. Like, you deserve that. And I've been hounding that campaign. You deserve to see it get better. I've been hounding it because you do. Because we spend so much time in a dark place, we think we deserve to be there, or we don't. We don't deserve to be there.
Right. You mentioned your day to day, and what is your day to day? What's your routine like? Walk me through a day in the life of Kevin Berthia.
It's tough because mornings are tough, and before the pandemic, I had a better schedule, but since this pandemic, it's been tough. So I try to get up and I try to not allow myself to go into my head. That's my day to day. First of all, that I have to not go into my head, because in my head is still doubt. In my head is still fear. In my head is still all these things that tell me that I'm not who I really am when I am that, because I live it. So I have to be careful every day not to go in my head. So that's the challenge every day, getting up, just not going in my head. If I can do that, then I can be productive, and then I try to just put myself out there. I mean, I scourge the social medias. I'm everywhere on all the social medias, and I'm just trying to find people that are losing hope, you know, because people posting, you'll be surprised how many people post in groups, you know, I want to die today. I mean, and you know, it's just, those are the people I'm hook and pull, and then I try to, you know, see what I can do to encourage them, you know, or this place, or or if I'm posting here, or I spend time trying to post on my pages and send something out there that can lift something that somebody can see and just say, you know what, all right, you know, I was having a bad day, but I saw your post, and you know, that got me through the day, and okay, well, I'm gonna have another one for you tomorrow. Like, so that's what I do. I try to just give my life back, you know, to this cause, because I know there's so many people out there that are struggling, that just need to know that it gets better, that, you know, it's not easy. It's just worth it. You know, I'm not completely out of it. You know, I'm fighting every day. It's not, you know, I'm probably in one of the biggest struggles of my life, but I can't be defined by it. I'm tired of being defined by the things that I go through. I'm tired of, you know, going through these things and just saying, okay, that's just who you are. No, that's a part of my life I went through. That's not who I am. It's just, I needed that to get me here. And we got to start looking at it like that. I needed that. I needed whatever that was to get me to where I'm at right here. Because where I'm at right here is where I'm supposed to be. So whatever got me there, it doesn't matter what got me. You know, we just got to stop worrying about the logistics. You know, we don't, you know, it's just when they pay a load from California to Florida, they just say, get it here. You know, the logistics is on you. Like, you know, we just paying for the load. Like, how you get it there is how you get it there. You go through your life, just get the job done. Get up every day and just try to be your best you. And at the end of the day, if you don't accomplish what you don't accomplish, then you just try to pick up tomorrow. Like, you know, how I go to sleep and how I wake up is two important things. I had to learn this because I was doing this for years. You know, I wake up in Tuesday, you know, with Monday's problems. You know, Tuesday has its own set of problems. So I wake up in Tuesdays, with Monday's issues. Now I'm channeling, trying to battle Tuesday's issues and Monday's issues. Now, if I do that Wednesday, I'm handling Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's issues because Wednesday that's on issue. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now imagine if I do that for 25 years. If I do that for 30 years, some people, if I do that for 40 years, that's what we are doing, and we don't even realize it because when the day closes, that's just it. It's like I have to learn to start taking my own advice. God is putting this stuff in me. This is not just for me. I mean, it's not just for you, the people that listen. This is for me. Like I have to listen to myself. When the day closed, the day closed. Whatever is not done, whatever didn't get done, whatever didn't happen, because tomorrow's gonna present us new problems. And if you don't have enough strength inside of you and you taking on yesterday's issues, you're never gonna be able to deal with it. Like I've been taking on yesterday's and past issues and past issues, and it's just like it's never giving me enough strength for today. And it's just like, no, today I have enough strength for the day, and I built that mentality, and I'm just trying to be better and live in that. Like, and be successful in that. Will I fail some days? Absolutely. Like, because I'm learning. I lived 30 years of my life not making a decision to live. Like as of 2013, I just started making decisions to live. Like I never made decisions in my life that were about living. Like, that's why I be trying to make people understand. Like, you have to understand the mind of somebody who's dealing with mental, like I didn't make decisions to live. So every one of my decisions, if you'd ask me, oh, you going to be alive in 5 years? No. Like, so I'm not making decisions that now I make, decisions that are I can see like, okay, this is going to be beneficial and be for me in 5 years. Like, you got to realize, are people making decisions? Are you making decisions for your life to be beneficial down the line? Like, because you got to start thinking about the future so you have something to look forward to.
Right.
I'm done preaching.
No, no, I love that. I have to ask you, do you get upset when people constantly use the tag suicide survivor to describe you?
No, because I don't get offended by any of it because all of this is God. like all of it. None of it has anything to do with Kevin. Like, yes, I was he just used the worst day of my life for his glory. Like, so when you say suicide survivor, if that makes you look at the picture and makes you look at my story, you're going to see God in it. So however it can redirect you to God, I'm a suicide. 22 times I'm a suicide survivor. So, I can't, it didn't happen just once. So I can't, it's undeniable. I've overcome a lot in my life, but it can't define me. But if that's what you want to say I am, if you want to call me the bridge guy, if you want to call me the whatever, whatever you want to call me, just it doesn't. I know it's God. Like, I know. There's no other humble, like there's no, the reason why I'm able to be used and be able to be taken to the places that I've been taken is because I know 100% it ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, I know it's bigger than me. It will always be bigger than me. I had no idea about the bridge. So for me to be picked to be the spokesman for, that particular, the most iconic place on the face of the planet, this thing is, I didn't even realize how big the bridge was. I didn't even know how iconic it was, and to know that I have this, photo that's everywhere around the world. It's like, and that is a reputation that when you see that photo, you're able to see God. So you're able to see me and God, a photo of me that represent God. So I feel I'm okay. Like, it took me years to really accept it. But when I started accepting and started thinking about it, it's like, that's why it was like, a couple of weeks ago, or about a week ago, somebody made a meme and it was like I lost 20. I only got an IRS back. I only got $29.99 back from the IRS. And they said, then they put my photo, like, as a saying, and for me, I reached out to the guy and that posted it because I know he didn't make it. It's just out there. And I told him, tag me in the photo so people can see that it's me. Instead of deleting it and getting mad, I tag, because now 50,000 people have shared that and 50,000 people have saw God. Like, it's not about, that's why I keep trying, it's not, if I make, we make it too much about us. It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with me. Like, and that's why I always tell people it has nothing to do with me. I'm just able to just be lucky enough to be used and say, okay, I'm going to use you as to my capacity to help get others. And that's all we do. And I'm great at pulling people from that dark place because I've been there. So if I'm going, If I'm stubborn, and he know I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn and I can't get out of, thinking about that dark place, then I'm gonna make you, security of it to where, you're gonna stop people from going in and then you're gonna pull people from going out. And that's the way I look at it. I feel like in my eyes, I'm assigned to Hell's Gate. Like that's just how it is because, I live different soul. It's like, okay, well here, because you're great at this is what, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I like what I do. I like the fact that people are able to inbox me and tell me things that I know they wouldn't tell nobody else in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with that because there's nothing that nobody else in the world can tell me that I would have me judge or make me think differently of them. Like, because I understand we all have a why and we don't deal with the why in this world. And that's the problem. My whole life is the why ministry. I want to know why. I want to know why you are the way you are. I want to know why you're doing what you're doing. Man goes into a movie theater and kills 19 people. We don't ask why. We never ask why. Because we continue we just deal with we just deal with the reaction. Like we don't pull back and say, cause that's why things continue to happen. Cause we don't find out why.
Get to the root of it.
We don't dismantle to the why. Everybody has a why. You are who you are because you are that way because of a reason. You don't just, people that are afraid of the dark. It's a why. They didn't just grow up and just be afraid of the dark. People that are afraid of heights. It's a why. Like you are who you are. You see a woman, they be like, she's so mean and strong willed. Why? Like something happened in her life. Like, he's arrogant. Why? Like, he had a dad that didn't love him like he did. So now he's growing up and now he's over arrogant. Like we all have a why. Like, but we don't spend time on the why. Like everybody has a why. Every individual on this earth is the way they are for a reason. But we don't think of it like that. We just think that we just somehow we just got the way we are just based on our own understanding, and that's not how it is. Experiences have shaped us to who we are.
I love that. I want to pull up some of the receipts that you posted on Instagram, and I just wanted you to tell me why you posted this or why you quoted that. So we're gonna go through your Facebook page and just run through a couple of these posts. All right. So 5 days ago, you posted this quote. You said, "Dear God, I just want to thank you for giving me another day."
Yeah. Every day. I mean, because I understand that scientifically, we don't realize how much has to happen for us to open our eyes. We just open them up. And I think that some days I forget, someday, forgive me when I forget that scientifically how much you have to do to allow us to open our eyes,
all right, to
allow us to breathe, to allow us to have these limbs, to allow us to deal with our problems, to allow us to face our problems. So forgive me on those days. And so I'm always just, some days I'm grateful for that opportunity just to be, in my problems. Cause I'd rather have my problems than to not have my problems.
Wow. I love that. Okay. November 5th, 2021, you posted this. "Everyone in the world is struggling with something. We just all mask it differently." That's powerful.
Yeah, I've been saying that, but I've been saying that since I came into this. Everybody in the world is dealing with something. Like everybody. And see, the thing is, we don't, from the richest to the poorest to the in the middle to the everything, every which way in between, we are all dealing with something. And we just all have a way of we mask it so many different ways. Sports, work, food, like sex, drug. I mean, so many different things, how we cope and how we mask it, but we're all dealing with different things and we all dealing with something. And we won't identify that. If we identify that, it will give us this compassion that allows us to be understanding, to help each other, push each other forward. But we're so stuck on, I got it all together. And nobody does. Nobody does. No. There's not a human on this earth that can say they've had a perfect day. It's impossible because you can't because a perfect day would mean we don't need him. Like that means we don't need you, and it's impossible. And I know that. Like, we have to understand that we all are dealing with something. Like, don't make people, people go through this Instagram and they go through people's pages and they want their life. You don't want people's lives. You want your life. You know, you want your problems. You don't want other people's problems because you don't know what they have to deal with. You don't know what they have to get up and face in order to have that persona. You know, you don't know what's behind that makeup. You don't know what's behind that board. You don't know what's behind all those walls that they put up to make it look like everything is good. I could put a photo of me in the middle of the ocean right now. It doesn't mean I'm there. Like we got to be careful of how we look at things and understand it's only about our lives and the things that we can accomplish within ourselves.
Wow, I love that. Painting pictures with your words. Okay. January 13th, you posted this quote: "Some stranger somewhere still remembers you because you were kind to them when no one else was." Can you talk to us about kindness and the importance of being kind to one another?
I will give you a perfect example. I had the opportunity to talk to. I talked to a lady. Um, where was I? I want to say I was in Montana, of all places. And I had the opportunity to talk to her afterwards, and we talked, and she was able to tell me some things about her. And I just gave her a small hug, I just gave her a hug and told her everything was going to be all right. She said that she hadn't had a hug in about 6 years.
Wow.
And that she hasn't heard, it was probably 25 years since the last time she got a hug and had been told everything is going to be all right with a hug. And I was like, it blew me away. So you don't know what people are dealing with. You don't know that these small acts of kindness can really change people's lives. You know, I don't know why it's so hard to ask people, is everything all right? Everything good? I don't know why we can't. I don't know. For the life of me, I don't know how, 86,400 seconds, you can't say, you know what? It's 86,400 seconds in a day. I'm going to devote 1,000 seconds a day, 500 seconds a day to just impacting the world. I don't know. Like, just imagine what the world would get like if everybody just said, okay, I'm going to take 500 seconds and just, not have it be about me, have it be about somebody else. That's what I'm saying. It get overwhelming for me because I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I live here and I see it. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but I don't get it. Like I get why you're the way you are, but you don't have to be like that. We don't have to be all about it just ourselves. We don't have to see somebody on the street and not try to ask them what's going on. Like we make that choice. We make a choice to overlook. We make that choice to not make ourselves available for people. But we also make a choice to when they're gone away and we're sad, and I always tell people, like, on these funerals, like, you had the opportunity. We was like, well, they didn't, I wish I could have done, I wish I could have said, I wish. The time is now. Like, we have to get understanding about the now, about right now in these moments that somebody right now needs you to, tell them that you're enough. If you may need that, and you may need to have somebody tell you, and it's got to be somebody else's responsibility, but somebody got to step up to the plate. Like, we got to be better at pouring into each other. Like, I want a world where we all make it. Like, not just me, not people that look like everybody. Because, if the world ain't right, then I don't want to live in a world that ain't right. Like, you can give me all the money in the world, but if the world is the way it is, then what's all the money going to do? Like, it's still going to be like, I'm still going to be able to, I can still walk out and somebody kill me. Like, and then it's over with. So what good is that? So the whole world got to be a certain way for me to be comfortable. Which is, call me crazy, but I always tell people, if you think I'm crazy, that you think that I think the world can change, you crazy for not thinking it can. So that's just how I look at it, you can call me whatever you want to call me, and I'm gonna call you whatever I want to call you, like, because we don't have the same beliefs. Somebody gotta believe that my kids will live in a world where they can be able to talk to anybody, where healthcare is out there and attainable, and people that really care. And that our system is not designed to marginalize people's feelings and really uplift them in their most dark and vulnerable times.
Wow. Preach. I love that. So, Kevin, what's next for you? What's something that you're looking to do in the immediate future? Because I know you probably have a lot of goals that you want to accomplish, but what's that next
I'm
thing
not
you're looking to do?
as crazy. I'm not as big as I want to be. And it's not because I want to be big and famous. It's because this message Like, I want to be able to be bigger than what I am for the message. Not because I want to be, oh, I want everybody to know who I know. Because if somebody on social media can have 30 million followers and talk about nothing every single day, at least if I had 30 million followers and they can see like something that can give them something of substance every single day. Like, and that's all I've ever said. Like, I don't care. I be like, man, how long I've been trying to blow myself? How much I've been trying to get things? And I'll be like, go to somebody's page and they got, 10 million followers. And I'll be like, I don't even know who this person is. And they, in
Right.
McDonald's eating French fries and they got, 700,000 views on a French fry. And I'm sitting here
Yeah. It goes
talking about
viral.
life and how we deal and how we can get through life
Right.
and that we all mask it and one like and I'm just like not saying that but I want to that's where the people are, and I had to understand that I had to get out this like maybe it's okay, but no, that's where people are at. The people are out there. That's where the masses at, so you got to get with the people. So now I'm just like, okay, I'm doing the branding and the marketing, like, it always annoys me when I hear the like, subscribe, but I have to get used to, saying that and promoting who I am and telling people that I'm a speaker and telling people that, I'm more than just an advocate. I'm more than just a person on a picture. Like I go around, I speak, I can speak to all walks of life. I have, all kind of different, ways I could do it. I could do it. I could talk for 9 hours. I could talk for 9 days. I could talk for 9 minutes. I mean, if you want the story in 9 seconds, I could put it in. I mean, however, I have so many different ways I've had to tell this story, and I've been able to transform it, to so many different walks of life. So, I mean, now it's just all about pushing it out there. I mean, I'm searching social media and searching all these different things. It's like this picture has been millions of people have seen this picture, but millions of people don't know that both of those people speak and both people have a story to tell. So I think that if I can
Make that
like
connection.
paint that picture, like, and just say that, okay, yeah, like let's, because I want to do this full time. That's the thing. Like, I don't want to go back to a regular job, not because I don't want to work. It's just because my purpose is this. Like, if I can help people and be able to take care of my family while I do it, so be it. But I have to get, you got to get to a certain level of, who you are in this industry. And I understand that. So, that's what I'm working on, trying to build a bigger platform for myself so that, and just come out the mold, do a lot more lives, a lot more videos, and just come out of this shell that I've been in and thinking that I just got to reach people when I'm having events. Cause, the pandemic has shut everything down. And I'm not going to always be able to reach people like that. So I got to reach people like this. Like, this has to be another platform for me, and I got to be comfortable just like I am on that stage. I got to be comfortable right here. Like, so that's what I'm working at. Just trying to brand, get the foundation out there, get myself out there. So, Kevin Berthia at Twitter, LinkedIn, Kevin Berthia Foundation on Instagram, Facebook, Kevin Berthia, everything's Kevin Berthia, and it's not about, cause I'm, so big on my name. For so many years, I wasn't Kevin Berthia. I was always trying to not be Kevin Berthia. So now I've made everything Kevin Berthia. So it helps me stay grounded and understand that that's who I am, So everything's Kevin Berthia. You can Google my name, YouTube, Kevin Berthia, everything's Kevin Berthia. So that's just where I'm at. I'm always reachable. If you know somebody need help, and I always say this, somebody need help, have them reach out to me. It's just, that's just who it is. I put my number out there and all that stuff because I don't worry about who the wrong people are calling me. I worry about the person that the right, not being accessible to that right person who's thinking about, what, I want to die right now. And if I had the ability to just call somebody and talk to him for 2 minutes, I can change my mind. Because that's all. Sometimes it just takes that little bit of just talking to just say, okay, where are we at? Okay, let me help you pull from that dark place that you're in. Like, I see that you're in that dark place. What happened to that? Like, let's see what happened there and see if we can, get this thing right. And sometimes that's all people need is that reprogramming and get back on track. So if anybody out there, I do, you can go to my website, www.kevinberthiafoundation.org. I do coaching. I got all kind of stuff that I do. And that's just the next step. Just staying grounded on this and just no distractions, just staying on this, trying to get this merchandise light, with the foundation logo. I mean, I'm trying to really just do what I was supposed to be doing years ago. I just got to start doing it now. So I appreciate the opportunity in this interview because, you launching this whole initiative this week of me just really just pouring into this foundation and pouring into getting this launched, so we can just get, people better. So we can get, and it's just the outpouring of all the love. I appreciate everybody out there, the inboxes. I don't take for granted when people inbox me and tell me thank you, and or they share their stories, or they tell me thank you for what I do. I need to hear that enough. I don't hear it enough, and I love to hear it. Is because it's hard. I always feel like I'm not making that much of a difference, you know. So I'm grateful for the opportunity when people do inbox and people do say the things that they do, because I'm appreciative, you know, because I don't know that I'm making the difference that I'm making. I mean, I want to know that I am, but you got to realize something. I get, you know, the statistics emailed to me every single night. I get the alerts emailed. So I'm looking at the lost. So it's always good to hear about the ones that are here. So, you know, thank you for everybody that reaches out to me. And, you know, I'm accessible if I could do anything in the future. Interviews. I always tell people I'm reachable. I'd be like, oh, how do we go do it? Just call me. Let's do an interview. Like, you know,
Just
let's
call
talk.
me.
I'm
Right.
not,
Send
let's
me a
do it. Like,
message.
you know, let's figure it
Yeah.
out. Like, you hit me up. We got an interview. Like, it's not, you know, like, I don't care how big I am. I'm going to be accessible. Like, I got to be, I work for
That's
the
what I love
people.
about you. You're so humble. I love that,
I
brother.
work for the people, man. I work for God, man. God's hours are what? So that's my hours, you know? So, you
Yeah.
know, I talk to people, you know, middle of the night because somebody's always getting up. Somebody's always going to sleep.
So
So, you
true.
know, I got to be
Somebody's always
accessible.
listening.
Somebody's always listening and somebody's always struggling, man.
Yeah,
So, you
definitely.
know,
Let's continue to hashtag rally up to save lives. Salute to Nikki Cotman and the Rally Up team for making this all happen. Nikki's a wonderful person. I really love what she's doing. Once again, check out the magazine too. Go to rallyupmagazine.com, get yourself a copy. And Kevin, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate everything that you are. I appreciate everything that you do. And just know that your work doesn't go unnoticed.
I appreciate that, brother, from the bottom of my heart, man. That mean everything. And thank you to Rally Up Magazine. I appreciate y'all more than I can ever say. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for just, you know, just being there and supporting your boy.
Definitely. And let's definitely stay connected. But before I close, I just want to make some post announcements. So we're accepting guest writers. So if you're interested, visit our website or send an inquiry via email to our editors team at rallyup.submissions@gmail.com. So please, I know we got writers out there. Please message us and contribute to the movement. It's a movement. Also, if you want to share your personal story or be featured, you should send your email to offc.rallyupmagazine@gmail.com. Of course, I want to thank all the subscribers and supporters for the movement. Hashtag rally up to save lives. And we're kicking off the Love and Mental Health series. And if you're interested in joining for candid conversations, then you should fill out the form, which you can find by clicking on the link in the bio. And last but not least, our foundation will be selecting a family for the quarter to help. We believe in financial struggles, and not being able to provide for your family weighs heavily on one's mental health. So families can be nominated, or they can nominate themselves by visiting our website, which is rallyupmagazine.com, spelled as it is. Or you can visit our We Fight Foundation Incorporated Instagram page and click the link in the bio. So definitely just look up Rally Up Magazine and follow us, because we are on the move. And Kevin, salute to you. Salute to you. Yes, we fight together. Salute to Vanity Dawson. Salute to everybody. I appreciate the support. And Nikki Cotman, thank you so much for making this all happen. You are.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, brother.
All right, bro. Stay
I'll
safe.
be in touch, man. Stay in
All
touch
right.
with me.
All right.
All right.